Welcome to Marsland Motorsport. In this episode, we're going to go through and summarise all the costs that we spent on doing the LS1 and T56 swap to the VH Commodore. The car's been tested. So now we're going to go through all the things that we did, from the engine to the driveline, suspension, little cheats and hacks, and what everything cost in each department, and give you a final cost of what it would take to do a similar swap to your car. So I'm going to break it up into a few different parts. Here we go. So the most important part of the conversion, the engine. From a wrecker, looking around the prices, between about $1,500 and $1,800 you can get an LS1 complete with all the accessories and wiring harness. So let's say it's $1,800, and a T56 gearbox was looking at about $1,500. Now we paid about an extra $200 and got the entire donor car, which was about $3,500 all up. The next thing you're going to need is a K-frame. So I got one from a VR Statesman, but anything from a VN to a VS, V8 K-frame will work. You can get a 6-cylinder one, but you need to get some different mounts for that. Anyway, that was $100 off Gumtree. I also spent $100 on the remote bleeder line for the hydraulic clutch. The tail shaft was $450 from Drive Shaft Balancing Services in Malaga, included new uni joints and balancing. So all up, the engine and drive line cost a total of $3,925. So steering. The steering rack that I got was a VN one, because apparently the line's cleared a little bit better, and also it has splines on the end rather than like a square shaped one, and that's interchangeable with the VL intermediate shaft. So I spent $200 on the rack, and I managed to get a real bargain on the VL intermediate shaft because these were rare as hen's teeth. That was $60. I also got some VL tie rod ends, which were $50. Now the high pressure line I got made up for the power steering line. That was done by Couplers Malaga, and that cost me $150. So all up with the steering was $350. The exhaust, everyone's gonna have a different number on this, but I needed a new muffler from the headers all the way back, so that ended up costing me $1,100. But let's say you already have a decent exhaust, it might cost you about $500 to get it connected up to the LS1 headers. Okay, the fuel system. I went for a returnless system, which meant I needed a few more hoses and connectors and ends and bits, rather than a deadhead system, which would have been a little bit cheaper, but here's what I spent. The fuel pump actually came with the surge tank and a China 044 Bosch copy, and also adding on a couple of AN fittings to that was $120, and I also got a new pump for the tank, the existing tank, and that was $100. Fuel filter, spent $35 on that, just a generic one from eBay. Fuel pressure regulator, I got a Raceworks one for $150, plus some AN6 bits and a gauge, and that was $50. Fuel lines, I got two 5-meter rolls of AN6 braided line. That was about $200 from eBay. Fuel rail to connect it to was a Jegs aftermarket one, and this was the cheapest fuel rail I could find at the time, which was $200. So total for all of the fuel was $859. So the electrical system. The wiring harness was done by Subarino Mechanical Services, and then I installed it myself, and that cost me $450. As for gauges, I'm running a tablet and an OBD2 Bluetooth adapter, and that cost me $135, plus about $5 for the torque app. A switch panel, you may not need it, but most people do for at least your fuel pumps and radiator fans. So I got a blank one with a push button ignition switch, and that cost me $50. And then I also bought a fuse box holder, which was about $6. The tune on the ECU was done by Matt Waters to suit the over the radiator, these sorts of headers, and stock everything else. That came to about $300. So all up, the electrical system cost me $941. Cooling system. The radiator I had was okay, but I did buy a new one because it sprung a little bit of a leak. Most people are going to have to change it anyway, so I've included it in there. And the one I bought is a standard VH V8 one, which is about $250 from eBay. Now, the conversion kit. You can go to many different places, they're all really about the same price. There's Muscle Garage, Castlemaine Rod Shop, but I got mine from CAE Enterprises because I was told that the headers fit a little bit nicer and they run good engine mounts as well. So I got the Castle headers, which were 1 3/4, 4-into-1 style, not the tri-wire style, which apparently fit a little bit easier. I got those. The left-hand side starter motor, adapter plate, high torque starter motor, gearbox mounts, and engine mounts. Now I optioned for the Northane ones, which were a bit more, and you also get the gearbox cross member. So the conversion kit, no matter where you get it from, it's going to cost you about $2,300, maybe even a little bit more, depending on shipping. So the cost breakdown for the VB to VL LS1 conversion is as follows. Engine and driveline, $3,925. The steering cost $350. Exhaust system, about $500. Fuel system, $859. The electrical system ended up being $941, which includes the ECU tune. Cooling system, $250, because I reckon you need a new radiator. And the conversion kit, $2,300. So all up, a total of $9,125. Now we spent a bit more on that. We spent $200 more initially because we got a donor car rather than engine from the wreckers, but we managed to get about $930 back in parts from selling bits from the ute, which gave us a total of $8,395 in the end. So we managed to get away with it a bit cheaper. We also spent a little bit more time and money on fixing up some of the bodywork on the car, the rusted panels. We resprayed the whole engine bay, so there's a few more costs that come into it, but you might want to think about those as well before you undertake your project. So if you're thinking about doing the swap, I say yes, go for it, commit. It might be a few more $1,000s than you were thinking of, but it's such a good package, great power, reliability, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. We've been on about 3 or 4 track days now, including a Tiger style event down south, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, the car's competitive and very fun and a lot more horsepower than we had before. So yeah, I reckon definitely go ahead with your conversion. You can break it up into smaller chunks and just buy bits at a time of the conversion parts that you need. There's going to be a lot of labour involved, as you saw, so the time that you take doing the labour, save up a few more dollary dues, and then you can spend on more conversion parts later on. So it may seem like a lot of money, but if you break it up into the different sections and start bit by bit, I reckon it's a little bit more achievable. This is what we did, and the time spent with labour meant that we could save up a little bit more money for each conversion part, and it worked out pretty well that way. It's taken us about a year, maybe just under a year, working on it every Saturday, which is a long time, lots of hours, but yeah, we got there in the end, and it didn't seem too stressful or didn't really go over budget either, which was great. So yeah, all in all, it's a great conversion. Dad and I have had a lot of fun and learnt a lot building it, and yeah, the results speak for themselves. My lap times are 6 seconds quicker than they were before. Dad still has a little bit to go, but he's quicker as well. Extra, 100 plus horsepower than we had before. Reliable engine package, which we can always upgrade in the future with maybe a cheeky cam or something. The other good part is, now that it's LS equipped, we could easily chuck in LS2, LS3, LSA, and it should all fit with some tuning and maybe a little bit more supporting mods. So that's probably it for the VH LS1 conversion. You'll still see this car in future videos. If I do any interesting race meets or any interesting mechanical installs, I'm sure to film it and put it up. We do need to get a roll cage for it in the future, so that might be one of the things we're going to do. You might also see another car coming up in the channel soon, but for now, that's it for the VH. We're not racing it again for a couple months, so the page might go a little bit quiet for now. I hope you've learned something following along this build channel. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone that wrote a comment or liked the video or asked a question. I've definitely learned a few things. There's a great wealth of knowledge out there, and it's part of the reason why I wanted to do the video, is to share that knowledge around so people can see what others are doing. I know it helped me every time I got stuck. I YouTubed something, and whatever the problem was, I could usually find an answer. So thanks very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to see what happens in the future on this channel.